Hi, everybody. This is Nanette Kennedy, and I'm with Reverend Robert Brzezinski, uh, Tim Noah, Christine Glenn, and Garth Catterall. They're all helping out with this call. And this is our monthly power prayer call. And we didn't have a call for the last 2 months because of the holidays. And now that we're out of that mode, we are back into our monthly prayer mode. And I'd like to welcome everybody who's listening. And if you're listening through Facebook, you can leave a prayer request there, and Christine will let us know if you've got a prayer request there, and we'll, if we have any live on the uh, Zoom conference, please sign in there and do your prayer request there. Anyway, I'd like to welcome Reverend Robert Brzezinski, and he can introduce himself and get the prayers on the go.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nanette.
You're welcome.
And welcome everyone to this monthly prayer call with Humanities team. I am Reverend Robert Brzezinski. I'm located in Arvada, Colorado, and I'm the senior minister and creative director of what's known as the New Thought Media Network. You can find us on Facebook and YouTube as well. And every month I'm blessed to be here and be a part of what's happening here in our prayer work. So I'm going to get us started with the centering prayer, perhaps maybe cover some of the big issues that are happening in our world, bring a little more peace into the room, and then we'll get a chance to dive into specific prayer requests that you may have. I've got a handful here. I know Nanette's got a handful in her inbox, and please, we have someone monitoring the Facebook room as well. So if you're watching there, feel free to chat or comment your request into the comment box. We'll get that and make sure we include you on the prayer as well. So, and so I invite you to breathe into the moment and just breathe. Just breathe and just be present to what's happening in this moment, in this experience. Be present to the allness that is the one life, that is God's life, surrounding and animating and expressing itself as everything. I recognize God and call it by known by many, many names. Some call it Buddha or Brahma or Yahweh, Vishnu, Kuan Yin, Source Energy, Muhammad, Allah. No matter the name, no matter the image, no matter the icon, the oneness that is God's life, expressing itself magnificently, joyously, peacefully as everything, as the all of all. And so I recognize this oneness connecting all of life, my life, your life, the lives of those on the other side of the planet, outside the solar system or our gravitational pull, everyone, all forms of life, the creepy crawly creatures and the furry creatures, the winged creatures, the two-legged creatures, the everything and the allness emerging right here, right now. I feel that, I see that, I sense that, and I invite you into a recognition of the deep, deep connection that is all life, that is the oneness. And so I know that oneness is revealing itself in unique and magnificent and sometimes awe-inspiring and sometimes very confusing ways. And still I recognize it must be God. And if it must be God, then somewhere in the midst of it, there must be good, no matter what. And so I allow myself to transcend the humanness of the day here for this time, to let go of any concerns or worries about what's happening or should happen or could happen or must happen or should have, didn't happen or did happen. Letting go of the labels that are cast about, the way we judge the experiences and the events of the world. Letting go of any identification of right or wrong, red or blue, left or right, liberal or conservative, leaving all of that at the door to come together in that field of infinite opportunity and possibility, the place where there are no limits, the place where all of humanity shines its gift, the place where we are creating a world that works for everyone. Here together in this time, recognizing the unity and the divinity of each one whose name is spoken this day, for each prayer that is shared and uttered or not, those prayers left unsaid, unrequested, but held in our hearts and our minds, all of that coming into our experience of healing this day. And we bring together our collective consciousness to heal the sense of separation, to heal the appearance or the apparent negativity that is not the truth of our lives. It is not the truth of God's life moving through us. It is just that human construct. And so we can let go of all those things and come to a great healing of consciousness, knowing and trusting and resting in that deep assurance that form follows consciousness. And so as I shift and change my consciousness, as we shift and heal our consciousness of the lack and the limitation and the doubt and the dismay, the suffering, and we come to that healing to recognize the perfection of it all, to see the light on the hill, to be the light in the midst of it all. It has been said that peace is not the absence of struggle or suffering or chaos or confusion. It is the ability to stay grounded and centered in the midst of it all. And so today we affirm, and I affirm for each one that hears these words, a deep sense of peace, a deep sense of staying grounded in the midst of it all. In the midst of the healing, in the midst of the revealing, in the great and glorious revelation that is upon us, that is upon humanity's life right now. For we are evolving. We are the evolutionary impulse of God's great creative force, taking form and shape and substance and experience here on planet Earth. So there could be nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong. There is nothing broken. There just is. And what is God, is good. This truth I know, I let go of anything to the contrary, for anything other than God is not God and has no power. I let it all loose. And I rest in the deep knowingness that there is a greatness emerging on this planet right now, as my life, as the lives of each and every one that hear these words, that are touched by this experience, by the vibration we create here today. And I sink into that deep, deep consciousness of knowing all is well and everything's working exactly as it must. With a grateful heart, I open the session and I know all is well. And so it is. All right, let's get diving in. That's a way to get started. Let's see if we've got anything on. Got a couple on Facebook already coming in. Tracy for our country, I'll include that. Yep, absolutely. And for Vibrant Health, for Peanut and Sophie, a couple of feline angels, absolutely. Let's jump in with Tracy there. Continuing that vibration of peace. Raising up that vibration of peace, that recognition that peace is the presence, the groundedness, the experience, the knowingness that God is at the center of all things, no matter what the experience may be, no matter what might be showing up, no matter how it might be labeled or portrayed or even experienced. We come to a deeper sense of knowing that in the midst of it all, beyond the appearances, beyond the effects, there is a sense of God emerging. There is something that wants to be revealed. And it is in our place, our experience, to claim that peace, to be the expression of peace that we wish to see in the world. Knowing that there are those that wish otherwise, and their voice, their power, they have that power to use this law, to use these principles just as much as we do. So we let go of any accusation of how others use these principles to express, and we stay focused focused on what it is we wish to experience, the peace that we wish to be in the world, the peace we wish to experience in the world. So I lift up a great word. Live up a great word for every country, for every opportunity, for everywhere there may be discord or the appearance of strife or separation or suffering or discord or revolution. And I include everyone across the planet in the invitation to look up, to see the truth, and to recognize that this is not a revolution, this is a revelation. We experience the great revelation, the great revealing of a world, of a vision, a greater vision for human life, a greater vision for human life where truth matters, where there is a sense of social justice and equality, equity across the spectrum, where there is no need to concern ourselves with who does what and to who or how or when or why, but to be in that place of knowing that there is a grand emergence that is happening, and that emergence is God's life through and as the lives of everyone everywhere. I include Kathleen in her prayer request in this as well, where she seeks to know the safety of everyone involved in the American government and all sides of that equation, any side of whatever aisle you might want to draw. I claim for Kathleen a deep sense of knowing that there truly is no aisle in the mind of God. There is no this or that, right or wrong, better or worse. In the mind of God, in the mind of the all, we are each coming into a greater understanding of oneness, of connection, of the divinity that is all life. So we speak a word of prayer for everyone. Everyone may experience a sense of safety, that everyone may experience a sense of wholeness and a knowingness that all are guided to the sense of a deeper sense of clarity, guided to a deeper sense of mission, guided to a deeper sense of the calling that is right now rising up. I claim for Kathleen that sense of knowing that right now she is moving up in consciousness. We are raising up Kathleen in consciousness to know that a greater sense of health and wholeness emerges through her body temple, as the cells of her body temple is the experience of her body temple, and her feline friends as well, that they may experience that same sense of healing, for they too are a divine expression of God, a divine opportunity, a divine aspect of God. We continue this prayer for the feline angels by including Peanuts and Sophie, and knowing that right where they are, God is beating as the hearts and the minds and the breath of those divine souls. So all of our pets across the entire planet, we raise up a vibration. Any animal friend in your life right now, bring that image to life, that expression of God's life, bring that to mind, and be in that place of knowing, of just knowing there is a wholeness here, there is a perfection here, there is no dis-ease or discord here. For we are right now raising up the consciousness and the vibration of healing, and knowing that that healing must occur, that it must happen. It could not be denied. The only thing that can deny this healing is us saying it won't work. Well, I cast that aside. I know that's not the truth. I know this power, the power of our mind, the power of our mind to shape the conditions of our lives and the lives of those willing to believe that we know these things work. We know, we have that collective wisdom. We have that inner deep knowing. And that is the key to it all, is to be in that place of knowing that the word we send into the vibration, into that collective universe, must manifest. So we speak a word for Sue. We claim for Sue a deep sense of knowing that, yes, collectively we are remembering that there is free will, that we each have the ability to use this power, to use our word in service of creating a world that, well, we believe works for everyone, but we create in the world that works for ourselves first. So each one stands at that point of choice, recognizing they may speak a word for good, a word of plenty, a word of abundance, a word of prosperity, a word of health, or they may speak that word of something else, a human limitation, a human condemnation, an accusation, a judgment. We may speak the word of doubt and fear just as easily as we speak the word of love and assurance. And what I know is, I know that the equation of life, the experience of life, is one of love. And when I come from love, then there is is no fear, there is no doubt, there is no lack or limitation. So I choose the good, I choose the God, I choose that which is enduring, the light and the love and the abundance and the prosperity. And I cast aside anything that looks unlike that truth, unlike that oneness. I cast aside the doubt and the discomfort. I cast aside any sense that there is anything other than freedom, that we are anything other than absolutely free here and now in this moment as a human race, as humanity, as humanity, as the culture of humanity. I recognize there is so much good happening in the world right now, here in this moment. I speak this word for Jerry, and I claim for Jerry that same sense of knowing that in the midst of it all, everything's happening just as it must, that humanity is united in knowledge and understanding and wisdom. The humanity is shining a light into the appearance of darkness, knowing there is truly no darkness out there. Darkness is just a failure to see the light. So we're shining a light into the places where those do not see the light. We are being the beam of light so that others may awaken to their own spiritual magnificence. We're dispelling any sense of injustice or deception, letting go of anything that looks unlike that, the perfection of God's life, of God's light, acting as truth, awakening and grateful, happy, healthy, and strong and vibrant. We lift up Jerry's prayer. We lift up each other, knowing there is an emergence that is happening on planet Earth right here, right now. And the joy of it. Oh, the joy of knowing that we are, that we are a vibration of absolute love, prosperity and abundance, joy and compassion. And I feel that vibration that Judy is sending out into the world, sending the vibration of love out into the world, knowing that that is a wave, that wave of love is purely potential love that is being cast out into the universe. And that as someone observes that love, as someone feels that sense of love, that wave of love, it becomes a particle. It becomes an actual experience. It becomes a thing itself of love. So we take that vibration that is being raised up by one and affirm an amplification of that wave. Each one here collectively raising up a vibration of love right now. Join me in this. Raise up a vibration. Feel the love in your body for whatever it might be. For a person, a place, for this moment, for whatever it is, raise up that vibration of love. And as one, send that out into the universe. Breathe that into creation. Breathe that into your world right now. Oh, breathe it out. Be the love. Be the vibration of the love. And let that swirl and wrap around the earth and wrap around again and again, encircling the globe, never ending, creating this rippling vibration of love around and around and around and around and around. Heartbeat to heartbeat. And together we become entrained. We become entrained as this absolute vibration of God's love. And all that may feel that, and all that may touch that vibration, all that may be touched by it, healed of any misperception, healed of any misconception, healed of any doubt, any sense of not enoughness, and embracing the wholeness that is God's life as our lives right here, right now. So I am grateful for all that's going on here, grateful for what comes next, grateful to open up to new requests, knowing that I've moved through mine, and we seem to be caught up on Facebook here. Let's invite Nanette back in. I know, Nanette, I think you have a few more names and a few more requests we can get to.
From a site called Over the Top, we have a request It says, it's from Regina. It says, please pray for all of those who are angry with politics, education, healthcare, their anger keeping them from feeling peace. Please pray for our country, Tracy.
Yes. And so, yes, Tracy, we raise up that vibration of peace, knowing that there is no need for anger, for God does not actually express the anger. The anger is a human construct. It is a human way to deal. It is a human response to a divine impulse. And if we can choose anger, then we can choose peace. If we can choose love, we can choose compassion. If we can choose and we remain at that choice point, then every opportunity is a place to choose the peace. I claim for each and every one across this planet a deeper sense of letting go of that anger, of releasing any sense that anger is necessary, or it actually works, or it actually accomplishes something. All that anger does is make us angry, and we can choose differently. So I claim the experience of choosing peace, of choosing to be the vibration of love and light and compassion in the midst of the chaos, in the midst of the confusion, not making anyone wrong for their confusion or their feelings, but being what we choose to express in the world. That is the joy. That is the healing that is happening. And we open to the next request here.
Okay. Olivia asks that we pray for for the right people, places, financially sound with ease and flow, and beneficial to all. Thank you, Olivia.
Lifting Olivia up in prayer this morning, this afternoon, this evening, wherever we may be on the planet. Lifting up Olivia in the vibration of plenty, 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 knowing that everything is happening in Olivia's life exactly as it must, to bring her to that place of revealing the grand vision, the grand mission she is here to accomplish, that she is here to be a part of. So I know that all the right people, all the right finances, all the right opportunities, all the right connections, all the right everything is flowing into Olivia's life moment by moment by moment. And I claim for her the sense of awakening to that, of seeing that truth, of embracing that truth, of affirming that truth every morning, stepping into the vibration of saying that everything's working just as it must for my highest and best good. I claim for Olivia that sense of knowing all is well, everything's happening, all is well. And there is a sense of peace that comes with that, of knowing God's got this. And she is raised up in the strong arms of spirit right now, demonstrating the truth of who she is here to be, being the vision, the mission she is here to fulfill. And life is good. We open to our next prayer.
Okay, this is from Johnny. And he says, please pray for me and my family after experiencing a traumatic incident of my dog escaping, attacking, and severely injuring another dog, and then being fatally stabbed.
Yes, and I speak this word for Johnny. For Johnny, for his family, for everyone that is involved, for the family of the other dog and the other dog itself, for his beloved animal and pet, knowing that this incident is just that. It's an incident. It happens in life, and it brings forth a sense of sorrow and questions and confusion. It brings forth so many opportunities to be the presence of God in the world. So I know, and I claim for Johnny and his family, a sense of compassion, of knowing that this was not an intention. No one sets out to let any of this happen. No one's happy to lose an animal or a pet. No one's excited for what comes next. We let go of all that to just be for the moment, be in the sorrow of it, to recognize that there is a humanness here, a humanness that must be felt, a human feeling that is calling for it to be felt, to bring us into a deeper sense of unity and oneness with all life, to bring us into that deeper sense of unity and oneness with all of life. knowing that from this experience, seeds of something new are growing, seeds of something new are blossoming and coming into form in Johnny's life and the life of his family, new ideas and new ways and a deeper sense of honoring all of life. I claim for Johnny and his family a sense of peace and knowing that while we may not comprehend in this moment, we know that over the time, there must be a glimmer in here somewhere. So we hold to the light, we hold to the truth that there is growth, that there is healing, and that the compassion shall rule this day for ourselves, for everyone involved. And I let it be. And so it is.
There's a prayer request from, well, it says, please pray for my Aunt Joan, who is suffering from heart failure. Kirsten in Atlanta.
Yeah. And so I speak this word for Kirsten, and I claim for her first a sense of deep peace, knowing that right where she is, God is, and that means that right where her Aunt Joan is, God is. And so while Joan is moving through her experience of life, of living, of choosing between this plane or another, this experience or another, I claim for Kirsten a sense of knowing that right where Joan is, she is in the midst of her own experience, in the midst of her evolution, in the midst of her great becoming, moment by moment by moment, that she is in a divine dance with the oneness, with God. For that is where we all are. We are all dancing with the divine, making and moving and breathing and having our being with the divine, allowing the divine to have its life as our lives. And right where Joan is right now, I claim for her a sense of healing of whatever may be happening in the body temple, in the mental body, the emotional body, her spiritual body. I claim for Joan a sense of healing, any sense of separation or doubt or worthiness, and being the essence of God's life right now in whatever she chooses, however she may experience this, however she may choose to be a part of this. I claim for Joan a sense of peace as well, for both Joan and Kirsten, a sense of deep, deep peace, knowing life is everlasting. And while we all shall eventually cast off this body temple, the soul is immortal, continues on and on and on, and therefore is never absent, never missing, and always present to the power and the opportunity for love, for life. It is good, and I let it be. And I speak the word and I say, and so it is.
Thank you. From Beth. Beth says, please pray for those who are out of work and wondering if they'll be able to go back to work, and if not, how they'll know what their next steps will be.
Yes. And so I raise up Beth in this moment. I speak this word on her behalf, recognizing the prayer that is in her heart, recognizing the feeling tone that is within her heart, to be the conduit of prayer for those that are in a unique place, in a different place than ever before. They may be looking at life as if they are out of work, and those that are looking at life as this great opportunity to recreate themselves. And so I know that there is within each one, within every one, there is that seed of the essence of God, the seed of all wisdom, the seed of all knowledge and insight, of inspiration. I claim for Beth the deep knowingness that each one, everyone across this planet right now, is at that point of the opportunity to activate that seed. And some may and some may not, and that is not ours to judge, but I let that be. I just recognize for those that are wondering, that those that are out there saying, what is next, that all the answers necessary are as near as the very next breath, as near as saying, yes, I shall serve the divine and I shall allow myself to be, and I shall sink into a deep sense of reliance and assurance that all is well, that God's got this, that the power and the presence and the intelligence back of everything is operating to bring me to a greater yet next to be, the great next yet to be, the greater expression of givingness and lovingness and livingness and everything. I claim for Beth a deep sense of assurance, a deep knowing that no matter what it may look like in her life and the lives of those around her, friends, family, people she might just see on the internet, that everyone is being guided and directed, uplifted and inspired to be a part of this new evolution, this new revelation that is a world that works for everyone. Each one in this moment is in some way being guided to a greater understanding, a greater realization of their spiritual magnificence, a greater calling to serve humanity's evolution. For that is what we are about. We are each here on humanity's team, serving the evolution of human consciousness, moment by moment by moment by moment, day by day by day. It is good. Life is happening, and we are all a part of that one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. And that life is my life, your life right now, the life of everyone. Emerging into a newness, revealing a new way, a new dawn, a new vision. So I am thrilled to be a part of this. Thrilled to serve and witness those that are in the midst of transformation. Thrilled to offer a hand and a voice and a vibration of saying, it's all good. It's okay. We're getting through this together. Because together we are one. Deeply we are one. And so I offer that hand of inspiration. I offer that hand of a movement of whatever it takes to offer up and lift up those around me and say, together, deeply we are one. Let's move together and create this world that works for everyone. I am thrilled. And I open to the next prayer request in our list.
Okay. Thank you. This is from, please pray for good crops in places where farming has been delayed due to drought, floods, or fires.
And I missed the name, Nanette, that started that. Sorry.
George.
George, right on. And so I speak this word for George, claiming and recognizing his prayer for a greater sense of life, plant life, crop life, a greater sense of knowing that there is enoughness, there is enough water, enough land, enough, and not too much, not so much that it's all flooding, and it's just right. That there is an equilibrium happening on planet Earth, that right in the midst of what's going on right now, planet Earth in itself is being healed. There is this time and this sense of being out of time that has allowed human life to heal, the animal life to heal, and it's allowing plant life, Mother Earth, to heal itself. So I claim and I affirm and I look forward to the vision, I cast the vision of a world that is renewing itself, renewing the nutrients on planet Earth in the soils, that the soils are renewing themselves, that there are new crops, new ways of looking at how we do farming, new ways of how we do water management and how we do fire mitigation and forest management, and how all these systems and all these things fit together. We have a new vision of how all of this works in collaboration, works in concert to bring forth a great and glorious planet Earth, a planet Earth that is sustaining, that is sustaining the life upon it with healthy food, with raw and natural foods, with great and glorious foods, with nutritious foods, So I claim for George a sense of calm, a sense of peace, a sense of vision, knowing that while we may not see the end result right in this moment, that the end is assured. All will and shall be well, for God's in control here, for the divine power, presence, and intelligence that knows all, that expresses as all, is in charge here, is making sure that everything happens in just the right way, that there is just enough, not too much, not too little, just enough of everything necessary for the complete and total restoration of the crop life on planet Earth. That's what's happening. That's what I'm sticking with. That's what I'm affirming. And I invite each one to join in this conversation, join in this consciousness of knowing that the healing is not limited to the human. The healing is not limited to, excuse me, to the animal. The healing is not limited in any way. The healing is happening on every level, to every form of life, in every expression of life, here and now. And that's the good. That is the glory. So I rest easy knowing this for George, knowing this for all of life on planet Earth, and I open up to our next request.
Okay, the next comes from Jennifer. I'd appreciate prayers for my sister and her children who are looking for affordable housing. They lost their home due to the pandemic, and my sister having lost her job. She now needs a place to live with her family. Thank you.
Yes. So I speak a word for Jennifer. I claim for her a sense of knowing that in the allness, in the everything that is the all sufficiency that is God's life, there is absolutely the perfect home for her sister, for her children, for every aspect of her family, that there is no one being cast aside in the midst of this, that God is not denying or forgetting about anyone, that no one is left behind, that each one has the opportunity, has the skills, and has the necessary, everything necessary in mind, in body, to say yes to a divine flow of everything necessary for life, for shelter, for and I know the perfect, and we claim that right now. I invite each one listening to these words to raise up this dear family, to raise up Jennifer's sister and her children in prayer, in a deep consciousness, knowing that the right home, the right shelter, the right domicile, the right apartment or house or whatever we may call it, that is available. It's already existing on planet Earth right now. And we just claim a sense of attraction, that they find each other, that there is the perfect relationship being created right now between Jennifer's sister and her future landlord, between the children and those in the housing around them, between it's not just a place, it is the perfect place. It is the perfect place for these children to grow and to flourish, for Jennifer's sister to move forward with her mission, with her vision of being on planet Earth, with all that is happening in the world. This dear family is a divine expression of God. There is no question. Each one is a divine expression. So this family is a divine expression of God's life. And right now there is the perfect place for them. And we connect them across the belief system, across the vibrational belief system. We affirm right now they are being connected. Right now, right now, right now. Maybe of newspapers being open to a want ad. Maybe somebody's placing that want ad over a phone call with maybe right now her sister's meeting with a potential. Right now, someone is awakening to a greater understanding, a greater realization. Right now, there is a divine vibration of divine truth being cast into the law that must manifest, that this family is absolutely safe, secure, and has the perfect home. Perfect domicile, perfect place to live. It's a done deal in the mind of God. We have spoken this word into the law, and it is done. And so it is. And so we move forward.
The next prayer request is from Maine, and he would like prayers for himself. He is what they call a long hauler with COVID, and he's had it for over 6 weeks.
I'm sorry you broke up on me again a little, Nanette. Was there a name there?
The name was James.
James. And so I claim for James a deep sense of healing, a deep sense of calm, and a deep sense of letting go. A deep sense of letting go of what others are saying he has to experience or he's going to experience. A deep sense of letting go of anything that he has created in his mind about what this means. Any meaning that this experience in his life, he has ascribed to this experience. A let go of all of that and come to a deeper understanding that no matter what the human condition, the divine condition overrides. And we may activate that divine condition. And in fact, right now, through the power of belief, through the power of affirmation, and through the power of saying, yes, I believe in my own healing, in the healing of God's life happening as James's life right now. As I say that, as he agrees to that, as those that hear these words lift up and say yes to that, we create a mental equivalent, a mental blueprint of the divine body temple, of a perfect sense of healing for James. Letting go of all the conditions, all the sense, any sense of longevity in this disease, letting go of what others may call it or what he may choose to call it, letting go of all that so we may be in a vibration of pure and absolute peace, of pure and absolute health, of pure and perfect vibration of the body temple that is James's body. So we activate that blueprint, we activate that perfect healing process in James right now. Collectively, we are each one by one saying yes to this healing, because we know that as James is healed, we are each healed in return, that everyone on this planet is being lifted up to a greater understanding of how this mental law works, of how we cast a healing into the law, and it must be responded, it must be acted upon, it must be revealed. This word could not return unto us void. This word must, by the laws of the universe, return fulfilled. And so we cast the word of absolute healing for James into that law and expect the healing and anticipate the healing and live as if the healing is already happening, because in fact it already is. The cells of James's body are right now realigning to better reveal the perfect body temple. The quarks and the atoms and all the micro stuff in James's body is right now activating to heal the white blood cells, the red blood cells, the nerve endings. All of it is right now activating in James's body, because we say so, is activating in James's body to reveal a perfect expression of human health, life, and livingness. That is James right now. So I claim this truth. I speak this word on his behalf. I claim for James a sense of saying yes to this. Deep, heartfelt yes, 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 yes. James is healed here and now, right now, right now. There is no delay. It is happening even as this word is being uttered. This prayer is answered. So we get out of the way and we witness the miracle and we let it be. And so it is.
Thank you. The next one is from Chris in Denver. My stepson and his wife need prayers to help them with their recovery of drug addiction. They've been clean for 3 weeks and want to stay clean.
Yes. Yes, Chris. Chris. We raise up Chris in a deep knowing, for it is Chris's vibration. It is Chris's mental acceptance. It is Chris's prayer that supports and uplifts the stepson and his wife, that uplifts everyone in Chris's life to recognize that addiction is not a death sentence, that this is not final, that there is truly no time in the mind of God. And so 3 weeks or 3 days or 3 years each soul that wants to be clean, that wants to be free of the disbeliefs, of the belief that any of those conditions, any of those additives, any of those drugs had any benefit. We let go of any of the belief in any of that and allow these two and invite these two dear souls into that experience of absolute clarity, moment by moment by moment, knowing that each moment added to the moment before it leads to a greater sense of clarity, a greater sense of cleanliness, a greater sense of healing. I claim for Chris the sense of knowing that no matter what it may look like, that this is not a hard process, that this can be an easy process, that this can be a graceful process, that this can be a process of healing and love and light, and need not be a process of harshness or suffering or relapse or any of the other crap that some people want us to believe. I claim for Chris a sense of being in the absolute truth that their stepson and wife are absolutely clean, clear, sober, uplifted, inspired, cradled in the strong arms of spirit. They are being healed right now. We raise that up in consciousness collectively as a community, knowing this truth, knowing this is the highest and the best truth. A sense of deep healing of the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, the spiritual body. It is all being healed right here, right now, in everyone that says yes to any of these words, that says yes to this vibration of letting go of the conditions, the doubts, and the disbeliefs. We are all being healed. So I'm grateful for this request and opening to the next request.
That was beautiful. We have a quick comment from somebody in Australia who's listening to Facebook. And she just says, in oneness, her name is Mara. In oneness with you all, I give my love and prayers, energized by the power of God and our God selves.
Yes, yes, yes. Ooh, I want to stand in alignment with Mara. I want to say thank you, Mara, for bringing that word, for bringing that truth, for that is the truth of God. It is being revealed here and now. I know that it is not I doing this work. It is the power of the one doing this work through me. And that work, that word, that truth may be revealed by anyone. And in fact, is being revealed by everyone. So I recognize the power in Mara's words, in her prayer. Amplify that truth, cast that truth even greater net, even farther afield, and say yes, and stand in alignment with it, and stand in alignment with her word of love, of energizing the power of God and our God selves. Thank you, Mara. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
These next three requests I'm going to read together because they've all got something in common. My Aunt Alberta is very ill and nearing life. She's 89 years old and hopes for a peaceful passing. And that's from Tracy. And then Sandy would like prayers. I'm sorry, this is wrong one. Both of my parents, Craig and Elizabeth, are very ill and living in a nursing home. I'd like to pray that God takes them so that they are no. Thank you for praying for them. And that was Louise from Taos, New Mexico. So those are the two that I made a mistake. There were two, not three.
Gotcha. Okay. And so I sink into that vibration of living. I sink into a deep recognition that life is truly everlasting. And that, yes, the body temple is not. The body temple that we wear and use and animate in day-to-day life has its longevity, has its shelf life, has its endurance. And yet the life that is within, that which knows that the body is not immortal, is immortal. life everlasting, the soul ever and ever expanding and increasing and living and loving. And so I claim for everyone, I claim for Tracy and Luis, a deep sense of knowing and a deep sense of peace that as our loved ones in our lives move into that next dimension of livingness, leaving behind this dimension, it is not an ending of life, but a new version, a new chapter, a new epic, a new adventure for each. And so while Craig and Elizabeth may be making their transition, we lift them up in a deep sense of prayer and a deep sense of knowing that they are right now living. And as long as they are here on this planet living, then we know that God is within expressing as well. And we know that same truth for Alberta, that even as she approaches that age where often many say life is over, there is still the spark within her. And as long as there is that spark within, we raise that up, we honor that, we speak a word of healing and of life and of livingness and of love. And if each of these dear souls, Alberta and Craig and Elizabeth, choose to make that journey into the next great dimensions, then we celebrate that as well. We lift up a deep sense of peace and a deep sense of knowing that they shall continue on and on and on, bringing the light and the vibration of love that they are, bringing the oneness of God that they are to wherever their soul may be. And in that is the promise for ourselves, a deep, deep sense of peace and knowingness that life truly is eternal, everlasting, ever. And therefore, in that connection of oneness, we are truly never separated from our loved ones. For they are as close as God, as close as the very next breath, in our hearts, in our minds, in our souls. And so the dance of life continues and the dance of peace continues. And together we lift up and reveal absolute truth that all is well and everything's happening just as it must. And life is truly everlasting. And with a grateful heart, I release that word and I let it be. And so it is.
Mm. And I think this will probably be our last one for today. And I'm going to couple this one as well. Sandy would like prayers for her daughter, Siobhan, who's a week overdue with her first child. And then from George, he would like prayers for his newborn niece, who was born with a serious heart condition. And Betsy, the baby, is only 2 weeks old, and her parents are worried to death.
Mm. And so from that experience, that reminder of life everlasting, we turn to a celebration of life emerging, the newness of life emerging. Whether on human time or divine time, it's all divine time. What I know is I know that life is forever emerging, revealing itself in new and wondrous and amazing ways. That the power of God, the vision of God, the wisdom and the intelligence, the inspiration, the love, the light, the beauty of God is emerging again and again and again as new life. And so I claim for Sandy a sense of peace as her daughter Siobhan moves through the experience of opening to that and of allowing the emergence of that new life on divine time, resting in a deep sense of knowing that everything's happening just as it must. There's nothing wrong here. There's nothing wrong here. We're moving through the experience just as is perfect for everyone involved. We may not know the reason. We often cannot see the reason. We just be with the experience of recognizing there is a prayer of absolute perfection happening right now for the birth of this child, for the emergence of life, of a life taking form, taking experience as this child right now. We know peace in Siobhan's life. We claim peace in Sandy's life. and a deep sense of knowing that everything's working, everything's happening just as it must. All is well. There's nothing wrong here. And I claim that same knowing for George as well, that he knows his niece Betsy, that there is truly nothing wrong here, that while there may be something different, while this Betsy may have come into the world with an experience unlike many others or any other, that there is something happening here to bring George, to bring Betsy's parents, to bring Betsy to a greater relationship with the divine, with God, with the oneness. And that no matter what Betsy's choice may be to stay and stick it out and be the healing, to take that step into the next great beyond and reemerge as life again in another way, there is life everlasting here. And I claim for George a sense of peace, knowing that while Betsy is with us and for as long as she chooses to be on this planet, she's bringing forth the magnificence of God in one way or another, bringing forth a sense of healing, bringing forth a sense of evolution and a sense of revelation, revealing a grander vision of life, of healing, of health and wholeness and oneness. So I try and I do, and I avow for myself to just get out of the way. In all of the words that have been spoken here today, I know not the ending, I know not the vision, but I know that God's at the center of it all. So I rest in the deep assurance of God's life. I rest in a deep assurance that there is something miraculous happening, regardless of the appearances, regardless of the outcomes. There is life, there is mystery, there is the amazingness, there is the miracle that is God expressing. As my life, as the lives of everyone that hears these words, as the lives of everyone that has been lifted up by prayer this day. Right there, we know God. And together, we activate the healing. And together, we step into a great, great experience of gratitude. Grateful, grateful, grateful. And I let it be. Get out of the way, let go, and let God be God. And please, if any word of this has resonated in any way, join me in an affirmation of truth as we say together. And so it is.
Beautiful as usual, Reverend Robert. And we really appreciate you with your thought and your energy that goes into these. So that's really nice. Now I'd like to turn it over to you and see if you've got some announcements or messages you want to share.
Absolutely. I'm going to drop a link in the chat box if you're on Zoom, and trust that I think Christine will grab that and transfer it over to everybody on the Facebook side. I want to promote today. I want to promote humanities.team. So if you're on this call, you already understand the power of Humanities Team. You already understand how incredibly amazing and special this community is on the planet, how wonderful it is to be a part of this community, this global community, and the vibration and the truth and the healing that is emerging from that. And all the people in the back behind the scenes have been doing an amazing job at creating a social network specifically for us, free of the negativity, free of all the advertising, a place to be free and to connect. You know, they're not inviting the whole world here. This isn't open to everybody. If you've got a crazy Uncle George, please, well, maybe think twice of inviting him. But no, that's not true. We had a couple of prayers for George today. George, you are not crazy. But if you're the crazy Uncle George, maybe think twice. Now, please join us. Check it out. Humanities.team. The link is there. This is, I believe, going to be a great resource moving forward for all of us to stay connected, for those that are of like mind and like heart, to stay connected and support each other. This is not here to be another Facebook. This is going to be something totally, totally different. And, you know, the great Tim Noah is is really doing a lot of work to make all this happen. So let's give him a hand and help out by heading over, checking it out, and signing up. I think that's all I got today. Thanks. We're not promoting anything but Humanities Team today.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Christine, for watching the Facebook live. And thank you, Garth, for being behind the scenes back there with Tim Noah. And thank you, Karen, who actually slipped in a couple prayer requests during this call. So thank you, everybody. And we'll see you next month, the last Wednesday of the month. And that will be February 24th. So we'll see you then. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.